Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to build a rocket with great big engines that are on fire and roaring. To start off with, I've marked out in the sand underneath the water whereabouts the engines and the actual rocket are going to go. So what I'm doing here is I'm building up walls around where the engines are, or where the lava and the fire is going to go. And then I'm using a sponge just to soak up all the water. So this pit here is basically where the lava is going to collect. Now I've come up 3 or 4 blocks so that you can see the lava coming down. So you can make this as the distance as far as you want. You might want to see lots of lava coming out of the bottom of your engines, in which case come up maybe 5 or 6 blocks. And then I'm using steps to create the bottom of the engine. And then I'm going to use wall blocks on top of those steps, and then what I'll get is like a little gap between the first set of steps and the wall blocks where you'll see light coming through, and also it creates quite a nice effect at the bottom. So we'll move on to the second engine. You see how the wall blocks jut out a little bit, so it almost seems as if you've got an inverted band around the bottom. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to encircle the top of the pit with glass blocks and knock out the top layer of sand. I'll sit my fire on this ledge here, and then you won't actually see the sand under the water from the shore. I find this easier to do over water rather than land. So there we go, there's my 2 fire pits and my engine started. Now I'm going to come in off the engines to start building the rocket. There we go, 3 blocks, and then our 4th blocks is the start of the rocket, and we'll go around the edge with steps. Then in the corners I'm going to use, here I'm using a chisel block, I'm going to use a full block on the corners. Remember, you can use whatever blocks you want, you don't have to use the same colour and the same type of block that I'm using. And then we carry on with the steps. The idea is to create the impression that the rocket's getting smaller and smaller as it's getting taller and taller, without actually losing any space inside, because there's not a huge amount of space inside. You could double the size of the rocket if you wanted. Now I've moved on to wall blocks again. And now 4 blocks. And at this stage we stop using the block in the corner. So it looks as if the rocket's shrunk a little bit, but it hasn't. The inside has stayed exactly the same size. It's just we're not using the corner blocks anymore. And here we're going to use steps, which makes it look like it's shrunk again, but it's still the same size. A change of colour will also make it seem as if it's shrunk. Now on this level we've used a full circle. We have actually shrunk down 1 block here, and we've used a full circle complete with corners, or a full oblong complete with corners. This is so at this level we can lose the corners And as you can see, it gives the effect that the rocket is becoming smaller or thinner as we're getting higher, but it's not, it's exactly the same size. And then we do the same little trick with our steps. Now this is the rocket finished, so we're just going to bring it to a point at the top. You want to do this gradually, because if you do it too quick, it will look silly, so you need to consider how many blocks high, depending on how tall your rocket's going to be, to make it look more natural. There we go. Now, back onto the engines. We're going to use a similar kind of effect. We're going to start with our steps. Floor that in. Leave the hole in the centre because that's where the lava is going to go. And then we're going to build sort of a room with an open doorway because we'll need to put the lava in afterwards. We can fill that in once we're done. We'll connect it with an iron fence. Now for the door. Use pressure plates. Now to enter the rocket, I thought it might be fun to do a sort of parkour. It's over the water, so if you fall off, it doesn't matter because you're going to land in water. When you do your parkour, make sure that you can actually jump from one block to the other. Oops. Now for the inside. I'm going to use half blocks for the floors so that we don't lose any head height, because in the basement here there's not a lot of height at all, it's just for storage. Remember, you're just popping to the moon. If you were going to use this as your base, you might want to build a bigger rocket. This is our kitchen and laboratory. And as I said, there's not a huge amount of room in the basement, it's purely for storage. And now for the engines. So there's the hole that we left, and there's the block that we left in. Now we're going to put the lava down there, it's going to land on the block and spread out. Now we can fill in this hole and pop the fire around it in the pit here. And it looks like the lava is burning and smoking and roaring. And to tidy up the blocks underneath the sand, where I marked out the rocket. And start decorating the outside of the rocket. I find fence posts are brilliant for drawing the eye up to the sky, making the rocket seem taller. I can add a little bit of texture, a little bit of light, now for the engines, we'll do a similar thing. We'll also use glow rods on the top, just to give that little bit of extra height and light. And there we have it. Roaring engines. It really looks as if it's taking off. And like I said, you can make it out of anything you want, and you can make it any size you want. Sometimes it's nice just to follow your imagination. Here's our little storage basement. Plenty of room for all your moon rocks. Bedroom. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do like and subscribe. And if you want to leave a little comment, please do. And lovely to see you all, and hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye bye.